The moment you begin making excuses, you begin handing away your power. Every excuse may feel like protection in the moment, but over time it becomes a prison that limits your potential. Think about it. How many dreams have been delayed because someone said, "I'm too young, I'm too old, I don't have enough money, I don't have the right education, or the timing isn't right"? Those words may sound harmless, but they quietly convince your mind that you are a victim of your circumstances instead of the creator of your future. The truth is that your life changes the moment you stop asking why something happened to you and start asking what you can do about it. There will always be reasons to quit. There will always be obstacles standing in your way. Life doesn't wait until everything is perfect before presenting you with opportunities. Success belongs to the people who move forward despite uncertainty, despite fear, and despite difficulty. The people you admire most are not respected because they lived easy lives. They are respected because they refused to let hardship define their future. They faced rejection, failure, criticism, and disappointment, yet they chose responsibility instead of excuses. That decision transformed everything. Excuses create comfort, but comfort never creates greatness. Every time you justify an action, you train your mind to accept average results. Every time you blame someone else, you give them control over your future. But the moment you accept complete responsibility, something powerful happens. You regain control. You realize that while you cannot control every situation, you can always control your response. That shift in mindset is where confidence begins to grow. Confidence is not built by waiting for perfect conditions. It is built by taking action when conditions are far from perfect. Imagine looking in the mirror every morning and asking yourself one simple question: what can I do today to move one step closer to the person I want to become? That question changes everything because it forces you to focus on action instead of excuses. Even a small step forward is more valuable than 1,000 reasons for standing still. Progress doesn't demand perfection, it demands consistency. The smallest action repeated every day will always outperform the biggest excuse repeated every day. There will be moments when life feels unfair. You may work harder than others and still face setbacks. You may give your best effort and not receive immediate results. In those moments, your character is being tested. Will you complain or will you continue? Will you blame circumstances or will you adapt? The people who earn lasting respect are not the ones who never struggle. They are the ones who refuse to let struggle become an excuse for giving up. They understand that every challenge is an opportunity to become stronger, wiser, and more resilient. Instead of saying, "I can't because," they ask, "How can I?" That single change in language transforms the way they think, the way they act, and ultimately the way they live. The need for constant approval is one of the biggest barriers to earning genuine respect. When your confidence depends on someone else's opinion, your identity becomes fragile. You begin changing your behavior to fit every room you enter. You speak differently depending on who is listening. You hide your true thoughts because you fear rejection. You say yes when you desperately want to say no. You sacrifice your values just to avoid disappointing people. At first, it may seem like this keeps everyone happy, but in reality, it slowly erodes your self-respect. People can sense when someone is trying too hard to be accepted, and instead of inspiring admiration, it often creates uncertainty about who that person really is. Think about the strongest leaders, the most respected professionals, and the individuals who leave a lasting impact wherever they go. They don't spend every moment worrying about whether everyone approves of them. They listen to feedback, they remain open to learning, but they never allow public opinion to become the compass that directs their lives. They know exactly what they stand for, and because they have clear principles, their decisions carry weight. Respect is built when your actions are consistent with your values, not when they change to satisfy every expectation around you. The truth is that you cannot please everyone. No matter how kind, talented, or hardworking you are, someone will misunderstand you. Someone will criticize your choices. Someone will disagree with your vision. If you spend your entire life chasing universal approval, you will constantly be running in circles, changing direction every time another opinion comes your way. That isn't freedom. That is emotional dependence. Every opinion becomes another chain holding you back from becoming the person you were meant to be. Real confidence begins when you stop asking, "What will they think?" and start asking, "Is this aligned with my values?" That question changes everything. It shifts your focus from external validation to internal conviction. It reminds you that your purpose is not to impress everyone, but to live with integrity. Every great achievement requires decisions that not everyone will understand in the beginning. Many people abandon their dreams because they fear criticism more than they desire growth. They wait for permission that will never come. They delay action because they hope everyone will eventually agree with them. But growth has never required unanimous approval. There will be moments when choosing your own path feels uncomfortable. Friends may question your decisions. Family members may not immediately understand your ambitions. Colleagues may doubt your vision because it challenges what they consider normal. Those moments are not signs that you should quit. They are opportunities to strengthen your belief in yourself. Every time you remain committed to your principles despite outside pressure, your confidence grows stronger. You begin trusting your own judgment because you realize that your future cannot be built on someone else's expectations. Seeking approval often leads people to compare themselves with everyone around them. They measure their worth by likes, compliments, promotions, or praise. They begin believing that recognition equals value, but external recognition is unpredictable. Some days people applaud you and other days they ignore you. If your happiness depends on applause, your emotions will rise and fall with every opinion. True stability comes from knowing your worth without needing constant reminders from the outside. When your confidence is rooted in your character instead of public approval, criticism loses its power to shake you, and praise loses its power to control you. The people who earn lasting respect are not arrogant or stubborn. They simply understand that authenticity is more valuable than popularity. They are willing to stand alone when necessary, make difficult decisions, accept temporary misunderstanding, and continue moving forward because they know exactly who they are and what they believe in. Complaining is one of those habits that feels harmless, but over time it quietly reshapes the way you think. Every complaint trains your mind to search for what's wrong instead of what's possible. It becomes automatic. You wake up and complain about the weather, you complain about traffic, you complain about your job, your finances, your schedule, or the people around you. Before long, your brain becomes conditioned to notice problems everywhere. You begin to believe that life is happening against you instead of for you. The danger isn't that you occasionally express frustration. The danger is when complaining becomes your default response to every challenge. That's the moment you stop looking for solutions and start accepting limitation as your reality. Think about the people who naturally inspire confidence and earn respect. They don't pretend life is perfect. They don't ignore difficulties or deny that challenges exist. They simply refuse to stay trapped in negativity. When something goes wrong, their first instinct isn't to complain endlessly about the situation. Their first instinct is to ask, what can I do now? That single question separates leaders from followers. It shifts your attention away from circumstances you cannot control and directs your energy toward actions you can take immediately. Every minute spent complaining is a minute not spent improving. While one person is blaming the economy, another person is learning a new skill. While one person is criticizing every obstacle, another is building a strategy to overcome it. While one person focuses on excuses, another focuses on execution. The difference isn't intelligence. The difference is mindset. The direction of your thoughts determines the direction of your life. If your thoughts are filled with complaints, your actions will be filled with hesitation. If your thoughts are focused on solutions, your actions will create progress. Negativity is contagious. Walk into a room where people spend all their time complaining and notice how heavy the atmosphere feels. Energy disappears, motivation fades, hope becomes difficult to find. Now think about someone who always looks for possibilities instead of problems. Their presence changes the room. They don't ignore reality, but they bring optimism, determination, and calmness even during difficult moments. Those are the people others naturally trust. Those are the people others choose to follow. Respect grows because people know they can rely on someone who remains steady under pressure. Life will test you in ways you never expect. Plans will fail. People will disappoint you. Opportunities will disappear. Unexpected challenges will appear without warning. Complaining will never remove those obstacles. It will only make them feel bigger than they really are. Every setback carries a lesson, but you'll never discover it if your attention is consumed by frustration. Instead of asking, why is this happening to me? Ask, what is this situation trying to teach me? That simple change transforms obstacles into opportunities for growth. It changes failure into feedback and difficulty into preparation for something greater. Your words shape your mindset more than you realize. Every time you repeatedly speak about limitations, your mind begins accepting them as facts. If you constantly say, nothing ever works out for me, you'll eventually stop trying. If you keep saying, everything is difficult, every challenge will feel overwhelming before you've even begun. But when you replace complaints with constructive thinking, you create a different mental environment. Instead of saying, this is impossible, you begin asking, what's another way? Instead of focusing on what you've lost, you begin focusing on what you still have and what you can build from this moment forward. The most respected people are not those who experience the fewest problems. They are the ones who respond to problems with resilience, creativity, and determination. They become known as people who bring answers instead of excuses, encouragement instead of negativity, and action instead of endless criticism. They understand that every conversation is an opportunity either to spread doubt or to spread hope, and they choose their words carefully because they know their attitude influences not only their own future, but also the people around them. Every promise you make to yourself is a vote for the person you are becoming. Every time you say, I'll wake up early tomorrow, I'll start exercising on Monday, I'll finish this project tonight, or I'll stop procrastinating, you're making an agreement with yourself. The problem is that many people break those agreements so often that they no longer trust their own word. Imagine trying to build a strong relationship with someone who constantly breaks promises. Eventually, trust disappears. The same thing happens within you. Every broken promise chips away at your confidence, weakens your discipline, and makes it harder to believe that you're capable of achieving the life you truly want. Most people think confidence comes from success, recognition, or talent. But real confidence is built much earlier than that. It begins with keeping the small promises no one else even knows about. When you tell yourself you'll wake up at 6 o'clock and you actually get out of bed instead of hitting the snooze button, you're teaching your mind that your word matters. When you decide to read 10 pages, complete a workout, make one important phone call, or spend 30 focused minutes improving a skill, and then you follow through, you're building something far more valuable than a completed task. You're building self-trust. Self-trust is the foundation of every great achievement. Without it, every goal feels uncertain because deep inside you remember all the times you promised yourself you would change but didn't. That's why so many people stay stuck in cycles of motivation followed by disappointment. They become excited about a new beginning, make ambitious plans, and imagine a better future. But when action becomes uncomfortable, they quit. The next time they set another goal, part of their mind whispers, "You'll probably give up again." That quiet voice isn't created by failure. It's created by repeated inconsistency. Discipline isn't about doing something extraordinary once. It's about doing ordinary things consistently, even when your emotions tell you not to. Your feelings will change from day to day. Some mornings you'll feel inspired. Other mornings you'll feel tired, discouraged, or distracted. If your actions depend entirely on your emotions, your progress will always be unpredictable. But when your actions are guided by commitment instead of convenience, your life begins to change in remarkable ways. The people who earn respect aren't always the most talented. They're often the most consistent. Others know they can rely on them because they do what they say they will do. Start by making smaller promises instead of overwhelming yourself with impossible expectations. Don't promise to transform your entire life overnight. Promise something simple and meaningful that you can keep every single day. Read for 15 minutes, exercise for 20 minutes, spend 30 minutes learning a new skill, save a small amount regularly. Complete one important task before checking social media. These small victories may seem insignificant, but they accumulate over time. Each completed promise sends a powerful message to your subconscious mind. I can depend on myself. There will be days when you don't feel like showing up. Those are the days that matter most. Anyone can stay committed when motivation is high. Character is revealed when motivation disappears. Every decision to honor your commitment, despite discomfort, strengthens your identity. You stop seeing yourself as someone who starts things and never finishes them. Instead, you become someone who follows through regardless of circumstances. That identity becomes your greatest strength because it influences every area of your life. Respect begins from within. Before other people believe in your reliability, you must prove it to yourself. Every action either strengthens or weakens your character. Every promise kept adds another layer of confidence. Every commitment honored becomes evidence that you are capable of growth. Over time, your actions begin speaking louder than your intentions. People notice your consistency, your discipline, and your dependability, but more importantly, you notice it yourself. You no longer need constant motivation because your habits have become stronger than your excuses, and your confidence is no longer based on what you hope to do someday, but on what you repeatedly choose to do every single day. Fear of difficult conversations has kept countless people trapped in situations that slowly drain their confidence and self-respect. They stay silent when someone crosses a boundary. They avoid speaking up when they have an important idea. They agree with opinions they don't believe in just to keep everyone comfortable. They watch opportunities pass by because asking for what they deserve feels too uncomfortable. Silence may create temporary peace, but it often creates long-term frustration. Every time you refuse to say what needs to be said, you teach yourself that your voice doesn't matter. Over time, that habit becomes a cage, limiting your growth both personally and professionally. The most respected people are not those who avoid conflict altogether. They are the ones who know how to face uncomfortable conversations with maturity, honesty, and emotional control. They understand that difficult conversations are not battles to be won. They are opportunities to create clarity, strengthen relationships, and solve problems before they become bigger. Respect grows when people know they can trust you to communicate openly instead of avoiding important issues until resentment builds. Many people fear difficult conversations because they imagine the worst possible outcome. They assume speaking up will destroy a relationship, create anger, or lead to rejection. Their minds create stories before the conversation even begins. But in reality, avoiding the conversation often causes more damage than having it. Small misunderstandings grow into major conflicts. Minor frustrations become deep resentment. Opportunities for improvement disappear because nobody was willing to speak honestly. Courage isn't the absence of fear. Courage is choosing to communicate despite feeling uncomfortable. Imagine carrying a heavy backpack every day without realizing you have the option to put it down. That's what unresolved conversations do. They consume your mental energy. You replay situations in your mind, thinking about what you should have said. You lose focus because unfinished emotions continue demanding your attention. The moment you address an issue respectfully and directly, you create space for peace, confidence, and progress. Speaking honestly isn't about creating conflict. It's about removing unnecessary emotional weight from your life. Learning to communicate effectively is one of the greatest skills you can develop. It begins with listening before reacting. Too many people enter conversations focused only on proving themselves right. They interrupt, defend, and attack instead of seeking understanding. Real strength comes from remaining calm even when emotions rise. It comes from choosing your words carefully rather than allowing anger to speak for you. People respect those who stay composed under pressure because emotional control reflects inner confidence. There will be moments when you need to say no. Many people struggle with this simple word because they fear disappointing others. They overcommit, sacrifice their own priorities, and eventually become exhausted trying to meet everyone's expectations. Every unnecessary yes often becomes a hidden no to your own goals, your health, your family, or your peace of mind. Setting healthy boundaries isn't selfish. It's an act of self-respect. When you value your own time and energy, other people learn to value them too. There will also be moments when you need to admit you were wrong. Some people believe admitting mistakes makes them look weak, but the opposite is true. Accepting responsibility demonstrates confidence because it shows you care more about truth than about protecting your ego. The strongest individuals don't waste energy defending every mistake. They learn from it, apologize when necessary, and move forward with greater wisdom. That kind of humility earns trust because people know they are dealing with someone who values integrity over pride. Not every difficult conversation will end exactly the way you hope. Some people may disagree with you. Others may refuse to change. Some relationships may even come to an end. But speaking honestly with respect allows you to leave every situation knowing you acted with integrity. You cannot control another person's response, but you can always control your own character. Every time you choose honesty over avoidance, courage over fear, and clarity over confusion, you become someone whose words carry weight because they are backed by authenticity, confidence, and unwavering self-respect. One of the quickest ways to lose respect is to spend more time talking than doing. There are people who have endless plans, endless ideas, and endless promises, yet very little to show for them. They love discussing what they're going to accomplish next month, next year, or someday in the future, but that day never arrives because talking has become a substitute for taking action. Words are powerful, but only when they are supported by consistent effort. Without action, even the most inspiring speech eventually loses its value. People don't remember what you said you would do. They remember what you actually accomplished. It is easy to sound ambitious. It is easy to tell everyone about your dreams, your goals, and your vision. It feels exciting because talking about success creates the same emotional satisfaction as making progress. Your brain enjoys the attention, the encouragement, and the praise before you've even earned it. But there is a hidden danger in that. The more you announce your intentions without following through, the easier it becomes to mistake conversation for achievement. You begin believing that because you've spoken about your goals so often, you're already moving toward them, when in reality you're standing exactly where you started. The people who earn lasting respect understand the value of quiet progress. They don't feel the need to prove themselves through constant conversation. They allow their work to introduce them. While others are busy explaining what they plan to build, they are already building it. While others are debating possibilities, they are developing skills. While others are searching for recognition, they are creating results. Their confidence comes from action, not attention. They understand that genuine success never needs excessive advertisings because results naturally attract respect. Every hour spent talking about what you might do is an hour that could have been invested in becoming better. Imagine if every conversation about your dreams were replaced with 1 hour of focused effort. Think about how much stronger, wiser, and more capable you would become after weeks, months, and years of that consistency. Great achievements are rarely created through dramatic moments. They are built through countless quiet hours when nobody is watching, applauding, or encouraging you to continue. Those unseen moments shape your future far more than any public announcement ever could. There is also a difference between meaningful communication and empty talk. Speaking with purpose is valuable. Sharing ideas, asking thoughtful questions, encouraging others, and learning from experienced people all contribute to growth. Empty talk, however, is different. It is constant gossip, endless complaining, pointless arguments, and conversations that consume energy without producing value. Every minute spent discussing other people's lives is a minute stolen from improving your own. Every unnecessary argument drains mental energy that could have been invested in creating something meaningful. Highly respected people choose their words carefully because they understand that every conversation either adds value or wastes time. They don't speak simply to fill silence. They speak with intention. When they make a promise, they keep it. When they offer advice, it comes from experience. When they commit to a goal, they quietly begin working toward it before announcing it to the world. Their words carry weight because people have learned that they are backed by consistent action. Trust is built when your actions repeatedly confirm what your words have already declared. There will always be opportunities to seek attention by talking about your ambitions. Social media makes it easier than ever to display intentions instead of achievements. Many people become addicted to appearing productive rather than actually being productive. They measure progress by the number of people who notice them instead of the amount of real work they have completed. But respect cannot be built on appearances alone. It grows from reliability, discipline, and visible results that speak for themselves. Instead of asking yourself how impressive your plans sound, ask yourself how much meaningful work you completed today. Instead of wondering whether people recognize your potential, focus on developing your abilities until your results become impossible to ignore. Let your discipline speak louder than your promises. Let your consistency become your reputation. Let every action strengthen the trust people place in you, because in the end, the world doesn't reward those who talk the most. It remembers those whose actions made a lasting difference.